I'm once again standing in front of the mother's crystallized form. It's time, princess. Now put your hands over the crystal. You're gonna do this again? You're gonna go into like a 1-week-old coma and the deer is gonna like kill everyone. It's gonna be a repeat, oh no. I stare at mother's crystallized form in silence, but fear takes hold of my body. Time is of the essence, princess. I do as commanded and set my hands on the surface of the crystal. Uh-oh. Ding dong, ding dong. Moments later, the clock strikes 12, and my body suddenly grows heavy. A strange power begins to flow through me. What's happening? I attempt to pull my hands back, but to no avail. But not only are they heavy, but they feel as if they're glued to the crystal. Even as I struggle to move, I feel my energy dimming as the crystal grows brighter and brighter. Yes, yes, yes! Look at that. I blink a few times as tears begin to sting my eyes. I bite my lip in an attempt to keep myself from falling unconscious, and the effort only makes me taste blood. Lucette! Okay, oh, we're interrupted this time. Is that his portal thing, I guess? Out of the corner of my eyes, I catch a glimpse of Waltz by the door, his hand glowing as he prepares to cast a spell. Or maybe not. I was thinking like maybe like, you know, this old door thing was like somehow he summoned like an actual door that can transcend dimensions, but maybe he just walked in the front door, I don't know. Like an actual, just physical door. Waltz. Waltz's eyes meet mine, his expression contorting in anger as he turns to glare at Mythos. This is madness, Myth! Madness? This is... Angel, I guess? I don't know, anyway. You're too late, Waltz. Just a little bit more and the energy transfer will be complete. And my queen will be free from her prison. I won't let you do this. Waltz releases his spell at Mythos, who quickly conjures a shield to protect himself. I feel so weak. I feel my knees giving out. The next thing I know, Waltz stands beside me with a dagger. He drives the edge of the dagger into the diagram's surface, cracking it slightly. Then I am free. Waltz catches me in his arms just before my body hits the floor. Okay, so I guess the Hudir isn't gonna come back this time. Stay with me, Lucette. My body relaxes when I feel his arms around me. I squint up at his face, but his features are blurry. I have to blink a few times to clear my vision. I guess we have a decision again as well. I like the snarky response. Like, what took you so long? You know? I like that. Breaking in here wasn't exactly an easy task, little snar. I manage a weak smile. What matters now is that you're here. How did you get here? What? It looks like we made it just in time. Hey, Parfait. Parfait steps through a hole in the wall that her outburst of magic created. She looks solemn. Did she actually just explode the wall? I guess you can do that as well. You know, you always see Parfait, you know, conjuring shields, you know, defensive magic, but actually she can just kaboom the wall, I guess. You. How dare you show your face here? You who tried to kill my beloved queen. Kill? Mythos raises his hand to cast a spell, but Parfait quickly freezes him in place with a flick of her wrist. I'm surprised, but then I realize that Parfait is a Lucis bearer. Even in her weakened state, it seems she is a force to be reckoned with. She turns to face me with a weak smile on her face. As the bearer of the Christum Lucis, it is my duty to stop you, dear. Such was my goal even back then. Even when the two of us were dear friends. While Parfait is speaking, Mark slowly moves forward with his cane. He seems he's just about to ready to bring it down to the ground when Parfait turns in place and casts a spell. Now Parfait is just like a MVP right now. The magic hits the cane head on, shattering it on impact. Ah, boop, it's like boop, gone. Varg, however, seems surprisingly calm. That's a good thing that wasn't the only weapon I had, huh? Varg suddenly charges toward Parfait. Something silver and sharp glints in his hand. Oh no, his dagger! Remember last time he had the dagger? Oh! Parfait doesn't even move as she casts another spell, knocking Varg back against the wall. Oh, okay, the Parfait is just too OP. The knife in his hand clatters to the ground. Varg staggers back to his feet. The mask covering his eyes falls from his face as he stands. When he looks up, I feel my blood turn cold. Brett? Varg wags his finger at me, his smile crooked. Maybe I look a little like him, but you can't seriously think we're the same person, can you? I clutch Waltz's shirt between my fingers as I stare. Everything begins to feel hazy once again. What's going on? Lucette. Lucette! I hear my father before I see him. When I turn, he's limping toward us with a praying expression on his face. I can only assume that he somehow made it out of his cell, or that someone helped him out. I was thinking, like, he can, like, you know, cut through his bonds, and he can also break through prison somehow? I don't know. I guess he just knows how to, like, you know, escape in many ways. Waltz's arm is still there to support me as I walk toward my father. Father reaches out to touch both of my cheeks. His warmth makes me flinch. You're cold. I'll be fine. Father clenches his fist and turns to Mythos. It's over now, Mythos. Not quite. Another person. Another one to the party. A bright light suddenly surrounds the Tenebrarum, and the whole room is engulfed in white. I should have killed you a long time ago, dear Gennaro. Uh-oh. Wait, our mother is back? I think? I assume so. Ugh. Mother. I'm unable to see what has happened, but as soon as the light disappears, I see what horror has happened before me. I scream when I spot the large gash in my father's chest. Blood pours from a wound from a blade of light. I catch my father in my arms as he stumbles back. Waltz quickly comes to a stand beside me to help support him. Father! Now this kingdom is mine once again. Okay, she's back. The voice is familiar, but distantly so. It is a voice from my memories. I look up and suddenly there she is. My mother stands before me, beautiful and regal. Her eyes are cold, lacking any kind of love as she looks over at me. Lucette. Welcome back, my queen. Mythos, who has somehow managed to escape from Parfait, is now down on one knee before Mother. Dear. Hello, dear Faye. It's been a while. Parfait puts a hand to her chest as she begins to cough. She collapses to her knees. You have grown weaker since we last fought. Lady Parfait. Mother's eyes snap to Waltz and narrow. I see that the traitor is here too. I also see that you managed to reunite with my daughter. Mother flicks her wrist as she casts her spell. You will pay for what you did to me. Step back. Parfait quickly steps in front of us, and an invisible barrier appears just as Mother conjures a series of sharp ice projectiles. They bounce harmlessly off the shield, but I can feel the rumble in the ground as they tumble down to the floor. Parfait. Parfait is still kneeling on the ground. Now I can see blood on her lips. Lucette. Just, screaming each other's names over and over. I look down at my father. His shirt is soaked with blood, but his eyes are still barely open. Father. I feel tears brimming in my eyes. Whoosh, 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 more magic. The room fills with light, this time emanating from the floor. Slowly our surroundings begin to blur. Go then. Run away, Parfait. That's all you have ever done. Parfait's voice is pressed in pain as she speaks. We will stop you, dear. The last thing I see is Mother's wicked smile. Then light swallows us whole. Whoosh! Teleportation. When the light fades, we're back in the Martian. Parfait is still on the ground, though now she seems like she might sink into it. Lady Parfait. I'll be fine. Just call Rumpel, quickly. Waltz darts from the room immediately. Father, please hold on. Father's clothes are now dyed a thick crimson that stains my hands and dress. Moments later, Waltz returns with Rumpel. He rushes over to the king the moment he sees him. Rumpel tears my father's shirt open, revealing a deep wound on his chest. He quickly looks over his body and attempts to apply pressure to the wound, but the bleeding does not stop. He's lost too much blood. Can't you do something? I will do my best, but there's only so much I can do, Princess. I cannot perform miracles. There's a faraway look in his eyes as he says this. Or maybe you should call it the witch doctor? I guess not. An almost pained expression on his face. His helpless expression makes the panic surge in me again. You call yourself a doctor? Lucette, calm down. I cannot lose him, Waltz. I don't have much time left, Lucette. I turn to look down my father, my eyes filling with tears. No, don't say that, father. I wanted to see you become queen. But it seems that this is the end for me. I collapse beside father, and he reaches up a shaking hand to touch my wet cheek. Protect our kingdom. I can only nod at him. I will always be with you, as like a force ghost, just like in Star Wars. I love you, Lucette, and I'm proud that you are my daughter. Father smiles at me, and is so genuine and warm that it brings fresh tears to my eyes. His eyes slowly close, but the smile never leaves his lips. Okay, interesting. The king is dead this time. I wonder, did he ever die in the other rounds? I don't think so. I think he survives in every route. I think, if I remember correctly, I might be forgetting one route where he dies or something. But I think this is the first time he actually dies. Father, I shake him, but he does not react. No. I lean over my father, willing him to come back, to open his eyes, but he's no longer breathing. For the first time in my life, I cry for my father. Well, long live the king? I guess not. Ever since my father's death, I've locked myself in my room. I am filled with constant grief and pain, but I've become numb on the inside. Even when I want to cry, the tears won't come. Lucette, I brought you something to eat. I'm no mood to eat. Waltz sets the tray down and walks toward me. The blankets crumple as he sits down beside me. Slowly, he wraps his arm around me and strokes my hair. What has happened wasn't your fault, Lucette. He did what any father would do for his daughter. He did not deserve to die the way that he did. My mother's hand. I know. I curl my fingers into Waltz's shirt. I do not want to lose anyone anymore, Waltz. It seems like someone dies. Someone always dies in every route, I guess. This is no exception. Even in the last route, in the finale, I guess. Someone still dies. Waltz continues stroking my hair. It'll be fine, I promise. For now, I need you to rest. Lucette, I'll be here by your side until you fall asleep. He plants a kiss on my forehead and I close my eyes, relishing his warmth. Waltz's hold is firm, but comfortable. I sink into his arms as I fall into a dreamless sleep. Days later, the palace announces father's death. It isn't long before Alcaster is given his crown. Okay, interesting. Wait a minute, isn't Hadir like around? Why is Alcaster, the king or whatever, Because remember Alcaster, he only really, I guess, succeeds one time, but when he does, he, I guess, becomes a new king and everything. He takes the throne for himself. But usually, otherwise, if he doesn't succeed, he usually gets betrayed by Mythos and everything, right? And especially when Hadir is around, right? Isn't Hadir the queen and not Alcaster? The announcement of his ascension comes with an explanation of the king's death. The palace paints me as a criminal, telling the townsfolk that I was the one who killed the king. I'm labeled a fugitive, and the royal family is officially declared missing. Now, interesting that I guess it makes sense in the finale, like Alcaster and Mythos and Hadir all working together, all the villains teaming up. I don't know. We've been hiding together since then, the royal family included. Now it's been 2 weeks since father died. The longer time moves on, the more aware I become of one gaping realization. Mother has not yet shown herself to the public. Interesting. What could she be plotting? I'm thinking maybe Hadir, I don't know, Hadir seemed pretty powerful when she came out of the crystal, but maybe it's because the whole process got interrupted. Because normally when she was resurrected and everything, we go into a coma, right? But Waltz did interrupt the process by stabbing the dagger into the crystal, so I'm thinking maybe she's not at her full power? Maybe? She's still plenty powerful, it seems, but maybe that's why Alcaster's the king for now. I place my hand over my heart, willing the pain away. Every time I think of Mother, I remember the sort of light that went through my father's body. Enough time has passed. Even though I'm suffering losses, I cannot stand idle. I have a promise to fulfill. I will protect our kingdom. I'm about to go back to my room when Parfait calls me. Laura stands beside her. Lucette, can we talk to you? I look away, avoiding their eyes. What is it that you want to discuss with me? It's about the town baron. Despite Hadir's revival, it appears that the crystal's light is still dim. That can only mean one thing. Hadir is still weak. Yeah, that confirms my hypothesis, I guess. Still weak. Hadir was absorbing all your powers when we found you. We interrupted the process. The crystal was not able to absorb all of the magic you now possess. That is why she's still weak. Also, there was something else that bothered me about the crystal. Something odd. Odd? Bearer has a very strong bond with their crystal, a mutual relationship of sorts, but that bond was absent when she returned. What are you saying? It seems as if the crystal is forsaking their bond. What? It seems even the crystal knows that Hadir's time has come and gone, Princess. The crystal has already chosen you as its next bearer. It is a small blessing, but it doesn't change the fact that Hadir is still the strongest witch. At least, that's what she wants us to think. Parfait and Delora exchange a glance. The crystal has chosen its next bearer, and you have just as much potential, if not even more. Delora turns to me, who usually lacks expression, more solemn. Are you ready to learn magic, Lucette? Magic that you will potentially use to defeat your mother. Interesting. This is actually pretty exciting, because instead of us being the damsel of distress every time and waiting for everyone else to save us, now we have the power. We can now shoot fireballs, finally! I've never used magic before in my life. I've never been raised as a witch, and using magic to defeat Mother. I do not know. Well, regardless of what decision you make, we'll all be here to support you. Laura and I want you to know that. How is it that they are still willing to help me when I was the one that caused this whole mess? I need some fresh air. I begin to walk toward the door when I see Ophelia walk in from the tavern. Our eyes briefly meet, and she opens her mouth to say something, then stops when I shake my head. Well, your husband's dead, by the way, Ophelia. I guess, she already knows that. I do not want to hear her blame me for my father's death. Certainly that must be what she's thinking. Ophelia frowns but does not speak. I quicken my pace, almost running as I head into the forest. The night is silent and calm, and the only sound I can hear is the gentle sway of the grass as I step through it. Mother's back because of me. If I hadn't revived her, Father would still be alive. How am I supposed to face everyone knowing that? Waltz has been trying to cheer me up. While I appreciate his company and concern, even he cannot help me come to terms with my mistakes. I hear footsteps behind me. I turn to see Waltz approaching me with a frown on his face. Lucette, please, I'm not in the mood to listen to your reassurances again. I do not need you to tell me again that this was not my fault. Lucette, your father wouldn't want to see you like this. How would you know what my father wanted? I snap at him without meaning to, not bothering to hide the irritation in my voice. He'd want you to walk forward, not linger on the past that cannot be changed. You've been distancing yourself from us since the king passed. Don't think that I haven't noticed. Why is that? Because this is the only way I can keep them safe. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm not doing that. Ellipses. Yes, ellipses. Oops, I accidentally right-clicked. Ellipses, followed by more ellipses. You know that I'll always be by your side, Lucette. Shouldering the burden will only worsen your pain. Worsen? I already know the pain of losing someone that I love. I've brought nothing but suffering to those around me. I cannot get close to anyone again, lest I put them in danger. I've already lost my father, and I do not want to lose anyone else. Especially not you, Waltz. Waltz's eyes widen as he stares at me. I want to show you something. Keep your eyes open, Lucette. You can't miss it. Waltz snaps his fingers, and golden orbs of light suddenly spring to life around us. Okay. Like fireflies. Isn't that song, Fireflies? How's it go? Like do 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 do, something like that. Anyway, I can only marvel at the orbs of light floating around us. They look like stars dancing through the night. It's beautiful. You cannot truly appreciate how bright a star is without darkness. Walt snaps his fingers again, and most of the lights go out. During difficult times, the lights grow dimmer. He snaps again until only one light remains. When you're all alone, it grows even dimmer still. There are things that you cannot do on your own, otherwise you risk snuffing your own light out. Another snap and the golden orbs return, this time in great numbers. The lights are brighter than they were before. You're not alone, Lucette. I love you, and it hurts you to see you suffer alone like this. My heart is pounding so hard, I fear it might escape from my chest. In this moment, it feels as if time has stopped. It is just the two of us. All I can see is Waltz. As I stand here staring at him, I come to a realization. I love him. When did this happen? After a few moments, I realize it does not matter because this is the Waltz route. It just happens, okay? I stand up on the tips of my toes so that I can cup Waltz's face in my hands. I move before I can think it, leaning over to place a light kiss on his lips. Smooch. I feel an arm around me as Waltz pulls me closer. The kiss becomes more heated, and I feel a gentle flame stirring in my stomach, even as my mind becomes foggy. I feel his tongue on my lips. When I part them, I have suddenly drawn away, his face deep red. And then, did they ever describe the tongue before? I don't know why, but I feel like when they describe the tongue, it's somehow more lewd. Anyway. Sorry, I need to catch my breath. I feel the heat in my cheeks, and to fight back my embarrassment. And yet again! This particle effect. The same in the main menu, it causes my computer to lag for some reason, or at least the game to lag. It's stuck in like 30 frames. I don't know why. Why is it called? Anyway. Why do you cause my computer to lag, Waltz? Why? I just kiss Waltz. I look up at Waltz, suddenly realizing how close he is to me. I quickly bury my face into his chest to hide my embarrassment. Waltz's chest rises and falls with his gentle laughter. You're so cute. I close my eyes, allowing his warmth to envelop me like a blanket. I love you, my little star. This is not just your battle anymore, Lucette. You don't have to carry this burden alone. So please, trust in me. Trust in us. I am overwhelmed. Waltz's words make me feel strangely light, as if a weight has truly been lifted from my shoulders. Can you turn off the particles yet? I will, thank you. I trust you to turn off the particles. Please. It's laggy. We should go back now, or else everyone might be worried. Waltz places a soft kiss on my forehead and smiles at me as he pulls away. He extends a hand toward me. Let's go, my little star. I smile as I slowly take his hand. We walk back to the Martian hand in hand, momentarily forgetting about all the bad things that have transpired. Okay, finally, yeah. It's just laggy, you know? It's been almost 3 weeks since Mother's revival, and yet I have not heard or seen anything of her. What are you planning to do, Mother? Her fate told me before that the Tenebrarum has already chosen me as its next bearer. Does that have anything to do with why Mother is still in hiding? It is impossible to not feel the weight of my new responsibility. I have not yet fully accepted that I am now the bearer, but I cannot run from this responsibility for long. The Tenebrarum bearer's duty is to work alongside Parfait to balance the light and darkness of the kingdom. That balance had only just begun mending before Mother's sudden revival. For nights I've been wondering if there's some other way to stop Mother without fighting her. A small part of me hopes that perhaps Mother can still change. I think about that, and then I realize how Mother so heartlessly killed Father as soon as she had been revived. She was sleeping for 4 years, but that did not change her mind. Even now, I can only assume that she still means to make this kingdom suffer. It feels as if my heart is twisting itself into a knot. I gasp when a bright spark fizzles to life in my hands. Are we doing magic? I clench and unclench my hands, taking deep breaths to calm myself. Ever since I started trying to work with magic, it's been activating on its own. Whenever I feel any sort of deep emotion, some type of electricity sparks in my hands. That's all I can do to try and keep my emotions in check. The last thing I want to do is accidentally burn down the Martian, or hurt anyone inside of it. Laura and Waltz have both agreed to start teaching me how to use my magic. For the last few days, the forest near the Martian has served as a training grounds. Parfait constantly cloaks the Martian in powerful magic to keep our presence hidden from Mother and the other witches. It allows us to use our magic without worrying about being tracked. Still, Parfait's constant spell has considerably weakened her. Laura and Waltz tried to convince her not to cast it in the first place, but Parfait insisted that we remain as close to the Tenebrarum as possible, rather than move somewhere safer. She told us that I need to be close to the Tenebrarum as its bearer. As far as we all know, the crystal is still unmoved in the palace. I know that the chance I will face Mother in the battle of magic is extremely high. Although I fear the outcome, I have no choice but to consider the possibility. Time is running out, and I do not have the luxury of waiting much longer. I must decide what I must do. They all believe that I am the only one who can stand up to Mother, even with so little practice. Last night I told Parfait that I would make my decision the next day, that I would tell everyone that what I had decided. Now is the time for my decision. I don't know why, but I guess it's because, Lucette is on her training montage, she's activated her superpowers, she's gonna fight the big bad and everything. This really just reminds me of Fate Stay Night. For some reason, I don't know. It's probably because, Fate Stay Night is the last visual novel I kinda read through, I guess. It's time for the final showdown, Lucett's gonna activate her super magic powers. She's gonna summon a reality marble or something. I don't know, maybe not, but something like that. When I step into the reception room, everyone's already waiting for me. I catch Waltz's eyes first. He cocks his head ever so slightly, his lips stretching to a warm smile. I nod at him and smile back. I take a deep breath before facing everyone. This is the first time I have spoken properly of everyone since my father's death. Before I tell you of my decision, I want to apologize for everything that I have done and for everything that has happened. Mother's back because I was a coward, and Father died because I was weak. Lucette. Ophelia's the first to respond. It wasn't your fault, dear. I stared down the ground with my hands clenched. I tried to will my anger away, but only managed a few deep, stilling breaths before I looked up again. I brought Mother back because I feared that disobedience would have them kill my father, and yet in the end he was still. The image of Father's smiling face flashes through my mind. I clear my throat. I promise him that I will protect Anju, and that is what I intend to do. I will do everything I can to protect our kingdom. Spoken like a true queen. The words are shocking, even more so when they come out of Dolores' mouth. Queen. Why do you seem so surprised, princess? You know you're next in line for the throne. I hadn't even thought about being the next ruler. I'm not even sure I have the right qualities. Can I really do this? I wanted to see you become queen. Protect our kingdom. I cannot let father down. I have to do this for his sake. But the kingdom comes before the crown. I only take the crown if I can win it back. I mean, decision here, I will rely on all of you or I will need your help. I feel like these two decisions are literally the same, but I don't know. I guess eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I guess, I have to rely on you, It's like, I don't just need your help, I need your full support, everything. Because it's not like me to admit to weakness, but I cannot keep pretending that I can do all of this on my own. I'm not certain how much I will be able to do on my own. You underestimate yourself too much, Lisette. Have some confidence. It'll be hard, but we will stop Mother. Together, we might stand a chance against her. You're strong, but not invulnerable. Parfait looks at me, eyebrows furrowed. You know what we must do to stop Hadir, princess. I feel a tinge of pain in my chest, but I force my eyes to hold Parfait's gaze. I look into Parfait's eyes with determination. I do. Later that same day, I resumed my training with Waltz, while Parfait and Delora tried to come up with a plan. Drury and Garland returned to town to listen for any information regarding Mother and Alcaster, or any happenings in the palace. I forced myself to focus only on learning how to use my magic as fast as I can. Cram it all in, right before the final exam and everything, even though that's a horrible idea. You should never, cram, all the information all in one day, because that will not stick in your brain. You should always take notes and everything, and learn day by day, but anyway. Today, Waltz is continuing his lessons on barriers. He's been teaching me the same spells for the past week, emphasizing my protection. Let's review the types of barriers I've been trying to teach you. Do you remember them? One shields you from harm, while the other deflects a spell back at the caster. And always remember, that one lesson that always keeps popping up, always make a shield after the other caster, attacks you. Always be ready to make another shield. I wonder if that's gonna pop up again. Powerful spells cannot be deflected. That's why you need to be able to tell which spells can be reflected and which cannot, otherwise you'll end up using the wrong barrier. A single mistake can cost you your life. So how do I know what barrier I must use? Allow me to demonstrate. You see me cast my spells many times, so you should be able to tell the difference between them. But for now, let's think of it as another game. Just take a guess. Who knows? You might actually give me the right answer. I'll give you a nice little treat if you do. A treat? He always did like treating me in town. It's special this time. I wonder if this is just like all those other sweets he's treated me to before. I'm probably assuming that it's a kiss, maybe? I don't know, anyway. Walt snaps his fingers and a glimmering but a faint purple light appears around him. Whoosh! It is faded at first, but slowly becomes brighter as he moves his hands. Usually the effects of Waltz's magic are immediate, but this spell is taking longer to cast. Is it stronger magic? I remember Waltz telling me before that it takes a lot of energy to cast a strong barrier. Does that apply to offensive spells as well? Question time. What kind of barrier should you use? Assuming, that Lusette's thoughts are right, we should be using a shield, right? Because he's charging up, Dragon Ball Z style, Kamehameha, So maybe a shield? The slow casting time makes this seem like a powerful spell, and powerful spells cannot be deflected. Surely this is the right answer. Is that your final answer? My confidence is thwarted by sudden indecision. Lucette, in the midst of battle, you won't have the luxury of time to think about your decision. I look at him and nod. It should be the right answer. That is correct. Now prepare your shield. I have never shielded myself from a powerful spell. What if my barrier breaks? Trust in yourself, Lucette. I do as instructed and stretch out my hands to cast a barrier to shield myself. Okay, we actually can do... yeah, bam, we can use magic. Amazing. There I go. And then he casts a meteor, and then we die. Bad end. No. My hands shake as Waltz's spell collides with my barrier. I plant my feet to hold myself upright. Such a strong spell. When the light dissipates, I look up hesitantly, before smiling triumphantly when I see that my barrier is still one piece. I did it. Well done, little star. I eye the barrier again. My heart sinks when I notice new cracks in its surface. Oh, my barrier. Oh, don't fret, Lucette. Even the strongest barrier will obtain cracks after being hit by a powerful spell. That's when you set up your next barrier. Your opponent will usually make the mistake of assuming you have the same shield up and attack you with a weaker spell to try to break it. You can be ready for them with a new barrier. I nod. You know, unless it's like, I don't know, sometimes maybe they'll do like a double, you know, trick, or what do you call it? Like, you know, 4D chess, where they're like, you assume that they're gonna use a weak spell, so you're gonna put your deflector shield up, but then they use the stronger spell and they trick you unless they know that you know that that we know that they know that we know that they're gonna use a stronger spell, so we use our barrier, but then they know that we know that anyway. I'm impressed at how fast a learner you are. I have a good teacher. I think you're just a good student. So when will you teach me offensive spells, you know? I wanna like, come on, fire! Fireballs, lightning! I don't think you need to learn those quite yet. The witches we're up against will probably stick to offense, which means protecting yourself will even be more vital than trying to attack them. I told her that I would fight, and I meant it. If I need to hurt someone to save someone, I will do it. I look him in the eyes, my gaze unwavering. Kill the one to save the many. Emiya Kiritsugu, no. I still need to learn, even if it's just one offensive spell, Waltz. What if I need to help you? I cannot do that just by conjuring barriers. I will not lose anyone else this time, Waltz. I look up at Waltz, my heart aches at the sight of his frown. I do not want to lose you either. That is why I need to be as strong as possible. I want to be able to protect you. Waltz makes his way over to me, and just a few strides and pulls me into his arms. I will do what I can to save you from a repeat of what happened last time, Lucette. But you won't lose me. Waltz pulls back and looks at me, his expression warm and gentle. Here's your treat, as promised. Huh? Waltz bends down to place his lips over mine in a soft kiss. I knew it, I called it. Chimooch. It's a short-lived kiss, but still enough to make me breathless. You're all red, Lucette. How's your special treat? Disappointed? I quickly press my cheek to his chest to keep him from seeing my tinted cheeks. No. Let's call it a day. You need to rest. Teach me an offensive spell first. Lucette, we've been practicing since morning and it'll be dark soon. You already know that overusing your magic will take a toll on your body, especially when you're still getting accustomed to it. I shook my head at Waltz, determined. Using my magic before did wear me out, but now I can handle more. What kind of barrier would I be if I couldn't handle this much? Please, I'm begging you, Waltz. He eventually sighs and rubs the back of his neck. Okay, but just one spell. Thank you. He steps away from me. What I will teach you is a lightning spell. It's not for the faint-hearted. Alright, time to, you know, crackle lightning from our fingertips. Unlimited power! It will inflict excruciating pain on your enemies and also potentially paralyze them. I nod as Waltz continues his explanation. Though I try my best to conjure electricity, I've only managed sparks at the end of the day. I assume that's what we're gonna do at the very end, you know? Just Lightning! Lightning! Bzzz. Anyway, I collapsed onto my bed. I could feel the exhaustion lying over me like a blanket. I could barely move my arms after trying the lightning spell over and over again. I need to learn that spell as soon as possible. I yawn and then close my eyes. Sleep comes easy that night. Okay, we finally have a dream. You know, we've been having dreamless sleeps this whole time, but now we do have a dream. Lucette. That voice. Come back to me, my sweet princess. No. You have no choice in this one, little one. You will come back to me whether you like it or not. I will be waiting for you. Oh, maybe that wasn't a dream, that was like real probably. I sit up on my bed, my heart pounding loudly in my chest and in my ears. A dream? I wipe unexpected beads of sweat from my forehead as I calm myself with steady breaths. No, I will never go back to you, mother. Never. Never. I end up waking up later than usual, a result of my practice from yesterday. When I step inside the reception room, I see Julia and Garland speaking with Parfait, Delore, and Waltz. There's a definite solemnity? That's how you say it? Solemnity? To the air. Solemnity. I don't know, I never actually saw it spelled that way. Or at least, well, not spelled that way, but like, you know, I know the root word, obviously. I know solemn, but like, I never seen it, like, you know, in this form, I guess. Anyway, they all turn to look at me as I approach. Did something happen? Princess, the palace made an announcement today. They're issuing a higher bounty on your head for murder and treason. What? It was very strange. What with the fact they haven't been bothered to look for you since that day? Something must have happened that forced them to suddenly act. Dolores soon gathers everyone in the room to discuss Durian and Garland's discovery. The only one who's not here is Anise, who is in town buying ingredients for the Martians' meals. But Lucette didn't kill anyone. Isn't there some way to convince them? Alcaster's in power now, and the people favor him. Do they? I don't know. You know, last time, you know, the whole point is that they don't kill the king, because if they do, it'll cause an uprising. But somehow, I guess the people like him. I don't know. Weird. Or, oh, actually, yeah. Now that everyone remembers who I am, they're once again frightened of me. Okay, interesting. Maybe that's why. I don't know. No one would listen to you. They haven't seen how much you've changed. If only they could understand your circumstances, they might be more sympathetic. I look at Emmeline in surprise, and find myself smiling at her. Thank you for your kind words. I turn to everyone once again and frown. Once again, I'm putting everyone in danger. I'm so sorry. If any one of them gets hurt, I will never forgive myself. Waltz takes my hand and squeezes it. The simple gesture does wonders to calm my nerves. Don't be too hard on yourself, Lucette. We've told you already. We want to help you. We're in this together. He's right. I'm not sure if there's as much Rod, Emmeline, and I could do, but we will definitely support you until the end. Before, I might have cringed at her words, but now, Ophelia has nothing to gain from pretending. A lot of cringing, by the way. I don't know. Cringing? The word cringe has forever been ruined for me, you know? Because of the memes, you know? I cringe. Embarrassing moments and everything. So, every time I see cringe in this game, it's like I just think of the memes. About everyone just like, you know, again, cringes at embarrassing moments and everything. But anyway. Mother's right. We're a family. We will not abandon you. Ophelia and Emmeline are both smiling at me warmly. Even Rod seems to have a ghost of a smile on his face. Thank you. I apologize for bringing this up, Karma, but is it possible to ask for reinforcements from Brugantia? Okay, interesting that he revealed that secret as well already. Brugantia? Brugantia is one of our neighboring kingdoms. We have never had close ties because, mostly because of Brugantia's king tends to stay away from our personal and political affairs. They have always refused to engage in any sort of violent affairs. We all look at Karma, who stands there looking sullen. After a few moments, he lets out an exasperated sigh. You want me to ask the Kingdom of Brugantia for help? I remember Karma mentioning before that he was part of a noble family, but I did not expect him to be from Brugantia. What is he doing here, and how could he possibly ask for help from a king? The king does not participate in battles or skirmishes. It seems unlikely that he would provide support. He wouldn't provide assistance, not even if his own asked him, or even, well, I don't know why I said that, even if his own son asked him. Son, you mean? Karma crosses his arms and sighs. Well, I suppose there's no use hiding it anymore. Yes, I'm the son of King Clemente of Brigantia. Judging from the sudden quiet in the room, it seems that Parfait, Delora, Waltz, and the Knights were the only ones that knew. You're the last prince? The last prince? Dinaro told me that King Clemente's oldest son had disappeared just a year ago. There were circumstances. My family never knew I had the fairytale curse. I was forced to leave my kingdom so that I could come here to break my curse. Came to Angel to break his curse. His eyes wandered slowly to me, but then he focused once more on the conversation. To answer your question, though, no, I do not believe my father would send help. He hasn't heard from me ever since I left a year ago, and he would mostly likely think me some kind of imposter unless I showed up at the kingdom's doorstep. Even then, he would have too many questions and we would never get the help we were seeking in time. Seems we cannot rely on them for help then. We all turned to stare at Anise. The fine lady Anise has suddenly appeared in the Martian. What magic is this? I actually just came back. I'm sorry for startling you all, but I found this and had to bring it back. Her smile fades as she pulls out a flyer for us to see. An announcement. From the look of it, 4 days from now, Alcaster will make a speech on the changes that are to happen in Angel. Changes? That doesn't sound very promising. It means bad news. It may be worthwhile to take a look. This might give us some insight into what's happening at the palace. The deer is still in hiding, but it seems very likely she could be involved in all of this somehow. They could be plotting something special for that day. Garland and I could go to the event then, but make sure not to stand out. I'm coming too. Lucette, I need to know what's happening. I cannot hide forever, Waltz. But isn't your face on all the bounties? You know, I mean, this is like a bad idea. I will go, and I do not need anyone's permission to do so. Well, I guess you're technically the next queen after all. But Laura, don't encourage her. We both know how stubborn she is. She won't stay put even if we command her to. Laura looks at me and winks. Parfait lets out a heavy sigh. Waltz and Karma will accompany her then. Waltz nods. Karma looks somewhat startled, but eventually nods as well. So until that day comes, we all need to prepare for the worst case scenario. I assume we wear a robe or something, you know, because I don't know, if we just walk outside and someone looks at us, we'll probably get captured easily, you know. I've been practicing my magic non-stop since the day we heard Alcaster's speech. Okay, it already happened. Okay, we're not gonna have a scene. It just happens. I guess we just kind of skip over that. It's probably, we already saw that speech in the other routes, when Alcaster got into power and everything. It's probably the same thing. I continue to work on my barriers while also continuously attempting that one offensive spell Waltz tried to teach me. Okay, remember what I told you. Focus your energy on the tips of your fingers until you feel the current flow through your veins. Okay. Good. Now try to cast a spell on me again. I stretch out my hand and imagine the energy gathering at my fingertips. I see sparks as I begin to cast the spell. Good, keep going. At the end of my casting time, I can feel the lightning snaking up and down my arms. Now release it. I direct the spell at Waltz with as much strength as I can muster, but it barely touches his barrier before it fades away. I groan. You're getting there, Lucette. Magic is weak, but it might still be able to paralyze someone for a time so long as you hit them when they don't have a barrier up. You paralyze them just like in Pokemon, Thunder Shock. Pikachu! But the speech is tomorrow. I will not be able to master it by then. Or is the speech... Oh, okay. I don't know why, but I thought... Okay, I don't know. I thought they skipped over Alcaster's speech. You know, ever since we heard of... Okay, I thought it was like we heard Alcaster's speech, but it's more so we heard of Alcaster's speech, so it didn't happen yet. Okay. I'm a dummy. I can't read. Anyway. You don't need to. Let's not assume things will be so bad. We're only going there to watch a speech. If that's all it is, you won't need your magic. The two of us continue to diligently work, but after a few more rounds, my arms are sore and my mind is foggy. Waltz calls it a day and the two of us retire to our rooms for the night. I have tossed and turned in my bed for what feels like an hour, but sleep still will not come. It's been almost a month since I last went to town, and it's impossible to not imagine the worst possible scenario for tomorrow. I will probably be awake until sun rises. I turn to glance at the doll that Waltz gave me so long ago. She sits on my table, her glassy eyes staring back at me. I wonder who's already asleep. Maybe he can help me calm my nerves. I mean, like a nighttime visit, wink wink, nudge nudge, anyway. Waltz? There's only silence. Maybe he's already asleep. I'm about to leave when the door suddenly opens and he's half naked. No? Okay. Lucette? Hello, Waltz. Let me guess, couldn't sleep? I nod. Come in then. The room looks exactly the same as all the other rooms. You know, at least, you know, it seems like every room we, like, go in and it's like, I guess a guy's room that's basically not our room, someone else's room. It always looks the same. There's always that mirror, there's the lamp, the bed, I don't know. You would think that each room would, like, slightly be customized, you know? I don't know, maybe? Unless I guess these posters are new? I don't know. Anyway. I sit on his bed and look around. My eyes shift to his table, where I notice a pile of sewing materials and an assortment of puppets. Yeah, we don't see that drawn, however, so it's the same. I don't know. You know, I guess, you know, they didn't want more extra work for the artist. Probably does, you know, require extra work to, like, meticulously add extra details each time, so maybe that's why. You've been working on your puppets? Yeah, I couldn't sleep either. It's been a while since I last did the show, but I want to make sure my puppets and materials are ready to go once this is all over. I'm sure the children are looking forward to seeing your shows again, but it'll probably kind of weird because you'll be, like, grown up and everything, so they'll probably be shocked. Yeah. Silence ensues as Waltz sits down beside me with one of his puppets. He begins to slowly sew at one of the seams. The silence is deafening. He looks busy, but maybe I should say something. You know, maybe you should. I mean, it's almost always the case that we do say something, you know, otherwise it's just no dialogue, right? I am worried about what may happen tomorrow. You think too much, Lucette. I do. I stare at the puppets on his table. When this is all over, will you finally let me be your assistant? Waltz smiles and pats my head. Head pat. Yes, when this is all over, I'll give you a spotlight. I'm sure the children will love your puppet shows. Talking about what happens afterwards makes me feel normal. It gives me some hope. Hope that eventually everything will go back to normal. I feel better now. Thank you, Waltz. Oh, I'm not sure I even did anything. You have, just by being here with me. You know, I'd do anything for you, little star. Little star. There's that nickname again. Does it bother you? No, I was just wondering where it came from. Oh, right, I never told you the story, did I? Back when I was still your mother's apprentice, my life was dull and empty. Then you showed up. Your circumstances were the same as mine, but your light never faded. You became my hope in that dark place, my light. That's why I consider you my little star. I can only stare as Waltz smiles at me. Right now, all I want is to stay by his side, to stay within the comforts of his warmth. I look at him and a thought shifts into my head, tinting my cheeks pink. What is it? Can I stay with you tonight? Ooh, I'll chicka bow out? What? Well, Waltz's face is tomato red. He looks shocked. I can't. It's not that I want you to, but I might. I mean, you know. He glances away and begins mumbling to himself. I guess, I don't know. I guess Lucette maybe is innocent. She doesn't mean, you know, like sleep together. More like, you know, just stay together, just cuddle. You know, just cuddling. It's fine, it's just cuddling. I suddenly feel dejected. Well, don't make that face, Lone Star. Waltz sighs. Okay, you can stay. Really? Yeah. I don't know why. They look distressed for some reason. Look at their faces, very distressed. We both lay side by side in the bed, shifting only slightly. Waltz is especially You know, that might be a double entendre, I don't know. Anyway, Waltz is especially stiff, I wonder why. I wonder why, I know. I loop my arms around his waist to snuggle into the crook of his neck. Waltz tenses beneath me. I feel like I'm being punished. What? Nothing. Well, thank you for letting me stay. My room felt colder than normal tonight. I couldn't help thinking about tomorrow, and about father, and my words trail off as I try to focus on Waltz's warmth. Please, do not leave me as well, Waltz. Lucette, look at me. I move back to look up at him. Waltz stares at me with an intensity that makes it difficult to look away. His features are illuminated by the soft moonlight, making them stand out all the more. My heart skips a beat. Well, I mean, it's funny because, you know, I just imagine, this is just dumb, but like I imagine, what if he's still in his shoulder form and we still have these scenes, you know? Wouldn't that be funny? I don't know, anyway. I'm not going anywhere, Lucette. I will always be wherever you are. I promise to always protect you. I reach out to touch his cheek. Thank you. He smiles at me before putting his arm around my waist and pulling me closer. I snuggle against his chest, taking in his warmth. I eventually fall asleep in his arms. Okay. Alright. Okay. Today is the day where we shoot lightning from my hands and murder everyone. Okay, maybe not.